Bringing you the news from around the globe and here in Sri Lanka. This is the news at 9. A very good evening to all our viewers. I'm Joel Outscore.
I'm Sonali Manikabadage. We start off first with a look at tonight's headlines.
Tear gas and water cannons fired at a protest by university students. 39 arrested. Former president appears before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry once again. Several artists also questioned by the commission. Motorcycle thieves put locals in Kandy on alert. Maldivian vice president was arrested to secure the integrity of the investigations over assassination attempt of the president. Statement from the Maldivian foreign minister.
Starting off your news tonight, police took measures today to disperse a group of students who demonstrated opposite the Ministry of Higher Education.
The Students' Collective to Protect the Higher National Diploma in Accountancy commenced their protest march this afternoon from Colombo Fort, demanding an equal recognition as provided to the Bachelor of Commerce. Later, the protesters marched to the Ministry of Higher Education, restricting vehicular traffic on one lane. It was then that the police took measures to disperse the protesters. "39 students were arrested in connection to the protest. Police said that among them are 2 monks, 32 boys and 5 girls.
Various views were expressed today as well on the arrest of Parliamentarian Vimal Veerwansa over an issue surrounding his passport.
They have no way of proving that what happened was wrong. If there was something wrong done on our part, this legal process would happen much faster. But it has been postponed to the 3rd of May next year. I intend on filing a human rights case against the Criminal Investigations Department over this matter. I am currently in discussion with my attorneys. He definitely has that right, and we respect that right. He was arrested on the charge of providing false information to the Registrar of Immigration and Emigration and obtaining a diplomatic passport. The second charge was possessing more than one passport in addition to a valid passport. A warrant is not needed to make an arrest for both these charges. He was arrested, after which he was produced before the Nigama Magistrate Court without any unnecessary delay.
සාමාන්‍ය ක්‍රියාදාමයේ සාමාන්‍ය ක්‍රියාපරිපාලනයේ නෙවෙයි.
ඔය ඒක තමයි එතුමා ඒකට අගමැතිතුමාට ස්තුති කරලා තිබුණා.
මොකක් හරි අගමැතිතුමා බලපෑමක් කරලා තියෙනවානේ. ඒකනේ ස්තුති කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
මොකක් හරි මැදිහත් වීමක් වෙන්නේ නැති. ඒකනේ ස්තුති කරන්නේ නැත්තේ.
Railway trade unions state that not adhering to a proper policy in importation has led to the shortage of train engines currently experienced by railway services. The Locomotive Operating Engineers Union says that as a result of this, many of the train power sets that were imported in the recent past are not in operational status.
Trade unions charge that the S11 and M9 power sets has attributed to the issues surrounding the train services to a large extent. They add that there are a number of issues in the S11 power sets that were imported to the country from India under a loan agreement in the year 2011.
We imported S11 power sets from India. The face of the train is made out of fiber. It is not safe. We saw this after 2 accidents. The driver and assistant succumbed in one of the accidents. The shuttle in S11 power sets and the security equipment fixed to the engine are outdated and are weak.
French Alstom M9 locomotives were added to the Sri Lankan railway service in 2009. Trade unions state that out of the 10 locomotives that were imported, 9 of them are inoperational.
If we look at the M9 engine, we were not skilled in understanding the technology. There were shortcomings in purchasing spare parts as well. In addition, just because we buy a high quality engine which have international standards, we cannot provide the required services to the train service.
The Lanka Private Bus Owners Association today filed a complaint with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, citing attempts to re-import power sets from India, which led to the controversy in the past.
Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva is making plans to re-import power sets. S11 power sets were imported in the past and are simply kept at the train yards. Drafts are being prepared to re-import the power sets from the blacklisted company in India. We receive more funds through the line of credit from India. We are going to purchase trains and train compartments with this money. Some say not to buy Indian trains. We cannot do that. We have to look at where we can get the loan from and where we can get the money from, and if we need to do the purchasing from them, we have to do the task accordingly. There is no one else to give us money. I will appoint a special technical committee and make sure that the anomalies that were there in the past would not arise, and the engines and the compartments will be imported accordingly. Welcome back to the news. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa appeared before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into serious acts of fraud today as well.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, former Minister Keheliya Rambukwella and several others arrived at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into serious acts of fraud and corruption. Secretary to the Commission, Lasil de Silva, said that they were summoned to the Commission over an incident where a loss of 200 million rupees was incurred to the independent television network in propaganda activities during the recent presidential elections. Mahinda Rajapaksa was at the Commission until this evening.
This is our time. It is our time and the time of our attorneys. We are waiting here. I provided answers during the cross-questioning. 101 dropped to 82. I wonder what level it will drop to. This audit is completely wrong.
Former MP Upeksha Swarnamali, actress Ruwanti Mangala and artist Bandula Vijayveera appeared before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry today to provide a statement over the discrepancies that had taken place at Sri Lankan catering.
The inquiry is over. Promotion that I attended based on an invitation that was extended to me. December. They wanted to record a statement from me regarding the catering at Sri Lankan Airlines at an event held on the 19th of December in Katunayaka. My husband was the one who attended it, but I was summoned to provide a statement.
When the organizers call me, I go there and sing. That is what I do. All I can say is this.
Former chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines, Nishantha Wickramasinghe, was scheduled to appear before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry over the investigations on Sri Lankan catering. Secretary to the Commission, Lassil De Silva, said that Wickramasinghe's son had informed the Commission that his father would not be able to arrive as he is currently abroad. A team from the Presidential Commission of Inquiry boarded the MV Avantgarde today as well. The team is expected to present a report on the findings tomorrow.
A group of representatives of the opposition convened a joint media briefing today.
The foreign reserves in the country for January were $8.3 billion. That would meet the requirement of our imports. However, incompetent governance had reduced the reserves to $6.2 billion. This is inclusive of the line of credit from India. It means that the reserves have been created while in debt to India. This will reduce even further. If we take a look at the reserves properly, we will not be able to meet the import requirements for even 4 months. Sri Lanka issues sovereign bonds for 10 years at a rate of 6.85. In 2014, when such development bonds were issued, the rate was at 5.125. Several months ago, $600 million were obtained at 6.125. Now they obtain it for 6.85. Borrowings obtained internationally increases daily. There is an issue over the foreign reserves. There's chaos on both ends. There's chaos on the lack of income, and then there's chaos due to the increase of expenditure. When I visited a village recently, they told me that it is time that they consume poison. I told them not to hurry, but on one fine day to rally opposite Sirikota and conduct that task. This is happening because the present regime has not lived up to the promises made prior to the elections.
We are compelled to pay off the high loans which the previous UPFA government of Rajapaksa obtained. Our national government is the government which has been able to provide this much of relief to the people of this country. Moreover, we will present a budget based on development and production. We have no such issue. It was the UPFA government that destroyed the economy of this country and put this country in a difficult situation.
Still in local news, Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa convened a media briefing this morning.
I am pleased to announce that funds were allocated for the Andaragasyaya proposed water supply project. Back then they demonstrated to sabotage this. They made various accusations at me. They tried to create a second Ratapaswala. With the leadership of the President and the Prime Minister, the government of good governance did not hesitate to approve 46 million rupees in May and 214.9 million rupees in October for the projects in the Bandagiriya and Gonnora zones. We are preparing for this. This is the reality and the truth.
A bunker said to be constructed at the Presidential Palace was discussed at the Cabinet media briefing today.
When we looked at the photographs, we were confused as to whether it was a bunker or a palace. I do not say this as a revelation made for political gains.
A
situation will be reported only if there is a threat. Then a decision will have to be made. This may have been a decision that was taken by him.
Not
all must be made aware of security. It is on a need-to-know basis. The situation has changed now. Another 8 suspects who were arrested over the murder of karate champion Vasanta Soiza were ordered by the Anuradhapura Magistrates Court to be remanded until the 9th of November. The order was issued when the suspects were produced before the Additional Magistrate of Anuradhapura, Nadikadiya Pirantha.
The suspects were first produced before the Specialist Judicial Medical Officer at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital before they were produced in court today. Court ordered for the immediate arrest of the remaining suspects over the murder. 22 suspects have been arrested thus far over the murder of Vasanta Soiza. Anuradhapura Chief Magistrate issued an order today to ban the overseas travel of R.A. Iron Ranasinghe, a suspect in the murder of Vasanta Soiza, who has been evading police arrest. The Anuradhapura Chief Magistrate Shanaka Kalangsuriya made the order to the Controller General of Immigration and Immigration after the Legal Division of the Anuradhapura Police presented facts to court over the murder. Police say that the suspect in question had served in the Sri Lanka Army Special Forces.
Locals in Kandy are facing a number of difficulties as a result of the number of motorcycle thefts that have taken place in the city over the recent past. 13 motorcycles were stolen in Kandy during the past few months alone.
The Kandy police headquarters had set up these posters in the city, which is a common sight these days.
I am very sure that the handle of my motorcycle was locked. I went to the temple with my wife and child. When we arrived from the temple, my motorcycle was missing. Thereafter, I lodged a complaint with the Peradeniya police. I called the 119 hotline 3 times. No one has either recorded a statement nor come to meet me until now.
In light of this issue, police are compelled to search those arriving to motorcycle parks as well as the motorcycles that have been parked across the city. These motorcycles go missing in a situation where a fee is charged by the municipal council to park in the allocated parking slots.
The police need to be more responsible and increase security. No matter what situation we are in, we always lock the handles of the bikes. There needs to be more security. The solution to prevent motorcycles being stolen and motorcycle parts being stolen is to have an allocated parking slot. There is a skilled police team. There is a team to nab perpetrators within 2 or 3 hours. However, we possess a doubt if these thefts are carried out together with the support of the relevant authorities.
We inquired on the stance and responsibility undertaken by the police in this regard during a media briefing convened in Colombo today. There was a high number of complaints lodged with regard to motorcycles missing in the Kandy city. We have created awareness to be vigilant of the situation. We request motorcyclists to be more careful while parking their motorcycles. For an example, several safety measures could be taken. The motorcycle handle could be locked. We seek the support from the general public as well. Maldivian Foreign Minister Dunya Mamun says that the arrest of Maldivian Vice President Ahmad Adib Abdul Ghaffur was an important step to secure the integrity of the investigations pertaining to the alleged assassination attempt of the Maldivian President Abdullah Yameen on the 28th of last month. A media briefing was convened in Colombo today to reveal the progress of the investigation.
It is further evident to the investigating team that there is reliable information to suggest efforts made by suspected elements within Maldivian security services to tamper with or destroy evidence related to the ongoing investigation. In this regard, several arrests have been made by the Maldives police for further interrogation, including the Vice President Ahmad Adib Abdul Ghaffur. Vice President Adib was arrested by the Maldives police as a suspect. Further, following an independent assessment by the National Inquiry Commission, it was concluded that an impartial investigation into the explosion could not be carried out unless the Vice President was taken into custody. This step was considered a necessary step to protect the integrity of the investigation.
In business news tonight, the Ministry of Finance says that the 90% loan margin of leasing facilities for motor vehicles will come into effect from today.
Issuing a communique in this regard, the Ministry of Finance said an official notice will be sent out to the government and private financial institutions today. From the 15th of September 2015, the 100% loan to value was limited to 70% by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. However, considering the negative impact this might have on the market, the Finance Minister stated that a 90% leasing facility will be given for motor vehicles.
A natural disaster over a year ago resulted in parents losing their children and children losing their parents. Today marks 1 year since the Myriad tragedy took place. Although 12 months have passed, the victims are yet to receive any relief. Newsfirst Charlene Benedict reports.
This is how Myriad is seen today after a devastating disaster that claimed the lives of 37 people, including children. Remnants of structures that once stood here remind us of the tragedy that took place here exactly a year ago. The water that flows across with the rain today washed away the homes and lives of people exactly 1 year ago. The construction of these houses began last year in the Punagale estate in a bid to provide shelter to those who lost their homes. The houses, built with the assistance of about 200 soldiers, are to be handed over to the families before the end of this year.
26 houses are currently under construction. The foundation has been laid for the construction of 56 houses. We hope to complete the construction by the end of the year.
Even after a year, the persons affected by the landslide in Mediabadda continue to live inside this tea factory in Punagala, Koslanda. 321 people from 92 families live in here amidst many hardships.
About 8 people live in this house. The sons, daughter-in-laws and grandsons all live here. We keep our children because we can't send them to school, we can't teach them.
Well, as you can see, most of those who live in these makeshift shelters are children, the one-day future of our country. As for the question on the minds of their parents and those other people who live in these makeshift camps, it's a very simple one. When will we finally have a home that we can call our own? We, the News First team, will be closely monitoring the situation here until the dreams of these people finally become a reality.
Thank you, Charlene. Now, a group of Sri Lankan tourists were among 22 people hurt when their tour bus overturned in a ditch in Ratchaburi's Potharam district this afternoon. The Bangkok Post reported that the police and rescue workers found many tourists trapped in the overturned tourist coach, but all were rescued. It added that they were among the 34 people on board when the tourist coach toppled. It was reported that 4 coaches were taking over 100 Sri Lankans to the floating market nearby. And up next is more local news on News in Brief.
A fundamental rights petition filed by 7 residents of Kolonawa at the Supreme Court was taken up today. The petition was filed requesting that the garbage dump in the area be removed. The case was taken up before a bench of the Supreme Court comprising of Justices Eva Vanasundara, Bhuvanekalu Vihare and Anil Gunaratna. The attorney-at-law representing the petitioner stated that many health-related issues have arisen in the area as a result of the garbage dump. The Colombo Municipal Council and the Central Environmental Authority said that they have solutions to this issue and requested that they be given time to implement it. The bench of justices ordered that the solutions be presented to court. The petition was postponed to the 25th of February. A protest was staged by residents of the Yalukavale area of the Akurana Pradesha Sabha in Kandy. The demonstrators stated that the Akurana Pradesha Sabha collects garbage and disposes it in their neighborhood. They pointed out that the Pradesha Sabha disposes the garbage on the pretext of converting it into compost.